We start with Logan Sargent, who will be leaving Williams. I mean, it was a minor miracle he got this far, but considering there wasn't anyone outstanding in F2 last year, Pourchaire being with Sauber and Vesti being with Mercedes, it was understandable that he kept his seat. But his extended Make-A-Wish will come to an end come the 2025 season. And along with that, another expensive crash bill for Williams and nothing in terms of points to show for it. Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy. Next is his teammate Alex Albon. My prediction is that he stays. He's really building something at Williams, and I think if he stays past the 2026 regulations and Williams build a good car with Mercedes engines like in 2014, Albon could challenge for podiums and be the leader of that team instead of being a dog for someone else. I wouldn't be surprised if a big team came calling for him, but hopefully he sees the bigger picture and sticks with the Williams project. We're moving on to Stake F1 team, whatever the they're called. I'm going to call them Sauber until they become Audi in 2026 because the name sucks. First up is Zhou Guanyu. Now this is a bit of a tricky one because while he's not a bad driver, he's not exactly amazing, but the one thing he does have in his favour is that he's got the power of the CCP and social credit behind him. He might go, he might stay. I think if Sauber build a decent car, which I think they will, he'll have a good year and keep his seat for 2025. Okay, this changes everything. I wanted to keep that first part in to show what my thinking was pre-Hamilton to Ferrari. We will get to who will replace Zhou at Sauber in 2025 later because I don't think he's going to be staying. I'm not too certain on Bottas though. Yes, he's Bottas, he likes showing off his ass and he seems like a lovely bloke, but this isn't exactly the same driver that raced for Williams 10 years ago. He was quick at the start of 2022 when Alfa made a good car, but I do think Zhou will beat him this year and end his F1 career. And his replacement? Why, of course, the current F2 champion, Theo Pourchaire. Like Piastri before him, he will spend a year as reserve driver learning a lot about F1 and preparing for his seat in 2025. He's the only Sauber Academy driver, so it just makes sense. The next team is Haas. One driver who I am certain will not keep his seat is Kevin Magnussen. Destroyed by Rusty Hulkenberg last year and he's only getting worse. He may well be 5 years younger than the Hulk, but he's 5 years slower. He just isn't a very inspiring driver. And if Haas want to keep their relationship with Ferrari strong, they would want to appoint this driver as soon as they can. Because I think Magnussen's replacement at Haas for 2025 will be Ollie Behrman. I feel for this kid, he's really good, but I think everyone has him tipped to join Haas in 2025 and the season hasn't even started. Hopefully the pressure doesn't get to him, he shows his worth again in another season of F2 and we get ourselves another exciting Ferrari Academy driver in F1. Remember Leclerc was at Haas for a bit? Maybe he can be that Leclerc driver for them. On to his teammate and another driver without a contract for 2025, Hulkenberg. He will definitely prove his worth again and for this reason, he's going to be leaving Haas. He can do better. To be honest, I thought he was older than 36 and he definitely still has the quality to drive well. If Haas can sort their car out, we could be on for another good Hulk here. But enough of Haas, next is AlphaTauri, or should I say Visa Cash App Red Bull. God save us all, this name sucks. First to talk about is Ricciardo. All Ricciardo has to do to secure that Red Bull seat for 2025 is show that he's still got speed and ultimately beat Yuki Tsunoda. Ricciardo will not be driving for AlphaTauri in 2025 and you will see why later. In his place will be Liam Lawson. Impressed massively in his 5 races last year, is only 21, nearly won Super Formula, and has been on Red Bull's books for yonks. He deserved a seat at Williams instead of Sargent for this year, but that isn't the best choice going forward, so understandably he stayed at AlphaTauri. And he will be their full-time driver in 2025. Yuki is another weird one. He will keep his seat in 2025, granted he beats/keeps tabs with Ricciardo and doesn't have too many brain-dead moments. You can see that he's improving and I think one more year with AlphaTauri is on the cards for him before making a shock move in 2026. Not much else to say with Yuki, so let's move on to Alpine. Yeah, no one's leaving. Even though both of their contracts run out, who would they seriously get in? If Doohan won F2, then maybe they would drop whoever did worse in 2024, but realistically, Jack Doohan isn't winning Formula 2. So for that reason, Gasly and Ocon both stay. Next up is Aston Martin. While it might seem obvious that Stroll keeps his seat, I'm going to say otherwise. You see, Stroll isn't a bad driver and his issue seems to be that he struggles with better cars. He was very good in the Tracing Point in 2020 and he had some great performances at the back end of 2022 and 2023 when the car was probably 5th or 6th best. He definitely isn't bad, but if Big Daddy Stroll wants his 5-year plan to take shape, it's gotta be in 2025 that his team challenges for the title. Stroll cannot cope with that and so he will be out. But the Aston Martin path won't be closed off because he will be put in their WEC team. I think Stroll and WEC could be a match made in heaven. And personally I hope this happens, not because I hate Stroll but because clearly F1 doesn't suit him. and challenging for F1 championships, don't get me started. His replacement will be Aston Martin reserve Felipe Drugovich. Obviously Alonso to Red Bull and also Mercedes now is a solid rumour, and his contract does expire at the end of the year. And as cool as it would be to finally have Spain and Holland come together after all those years, it ain't happening. Alonso is staying at Aston Martin at least until 2026, and then he's either given up because the car is a pile of shit, or because he can't be asked anymore. McLaren is a quick one, both will stay. There is no doubt about it. And now we're on to the top 3 teams. We'll start with Red Bull. Verstappen definitely isn't leaving, and he won't be doing so until 2028. But Perez, he's going to need to do a lot if he wants to stay in F1. At the age of 34, I really don't see any options where he can go if he leaves Red Bull. I do think Ricciardo will do enough to earn this seat for 2025, and therefore I think Perez will leave the team. And now Ferrari. I never thought I would see the day. Hamilton to Ferrari has completely changed the whole course of F1 in 2025. Drivers have been and will be kicked out because of it, and one of those is Carlos Sainz. But because of this, we know for certain that Ferrari's lineup will be Leclerc and Hamilton. Leclerc has or is about to sign another long-term deal, and obviously Hamilton is going to be there for 2025 on a multi-year deal. I am very excited. And finally, Mercedes. There is going to be a massive hole when Hamilton leaves, and the driver who replaces him is going to be a massive decision for Mercedes. Do you get a top driver to keep challenging Russell, or do you build a team around him and have a second driver similar to Bottas who will help him get results and move over on command for the leading driver? For this reason, I think Nico Hülkenberg, granted he has another good year for Haas and shows that he isn't losing it, will get the second seat. He's a safe pair of hands, he's hella experienced, and he isn't trying to be number 1 at a top team at his age. It's the perfect pair in my eyes. I've seen links to Alonso which I would not understand at all. All there would be is fireworks once again, like Hamilton and Rosberg, with 2 top drivers getting way too close to each other each and every week. I've also seen links to Ocon, which is actually a solid one, but I think Esteban is quite ambitious, and so selling his soul to be number 2 at Mercedes isn't something I see him doing at 27 years old. Another one is Bottas. Come on, why would he go back to that seemingly toxic environment? He would not join Mercedes. I think Hülkenberg could be a solid choice. And finally the big one, Carlos Sainz. The Chile will be moving to Sauber, which will then become Audi in 2026. And we have left a seat blank in the form of Williams. This is because I have a few options as to what will happen to that team. So Vesti seems like the obvious choice. Second in F2 last year, Mercedes Academy, it makes sense. But an interesting driver entering the fray is Antonelli. If he has a good year, who knows, he might get the seat. And then there's Colapinto, who is actually a Williams Academy driver. But for now, I'm going to say Vesti will partner Albon in 2025. So that was a lot of words, and we will quickly go over my choices right now. Starting with Williams, it will be Alex Albon as number 1 and Frederic Vesti as the newcomer. Then Haas, it will be Ollie Behrman after a good year in F2 and Zhou Guanyu after a better year in F1 with Sauber where he beats Bottas. At AlphaTauri, it will once again be Yuki Tsunoda who will start his final year with the team, and alongside him, Liam Lawson once again. On to Sauber, which will probably have another terrible name in 2025, it will be Theo Pourchaire who will finally get his deserved promotion at the team, and alongside him, a very experienced and also hungry Carlos Sainz. Next is Aston Martin, and while I would love to see Drugovich in that team in 2025, if I want to get any right, I would be stupid to say Stroll will be kicked out next year. It will once again be Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso. Now we've got Alpine. I think this will also be an unchanged lineup, and both drivers will re-sign with the team for 2025. McLaren now, this is obvious, it will be Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri once again. Red Bull, interesting one, but I do think it will be Ricciardo and Verstappen. Ferrari, this one can literally not go wrong. It will be Lewis Hamilton alongside Charles Leclerc. And finally, Mercedes. I personally think it will be George Russell as number 1 alongside a very capable wingman in the form of Nico Hülkenberg. When we come back to this at the end of the season, hopefully I'm not dead, but most importantly, let's see if I got all 20 correct. I fancy my chances. And special thanks once again to our members. I am Cyrox. If you want to get your name mentioned at the end and shown at the start of videos, you can become a member through the join button on my channel.